I'm Jon Bath. I work and have worked in the West End for around 20 years as both producer and general manager. I've probably known of White Light as long as I've known of commercial theatre, I think. I imagine I can't quite remember, but I believe probably introduced by a production manager probably my first or second day on the job, so it's been a permanent fixture in my West End life. I think I met Brian pretty early on, which has been a relationship which stands till this day, and I'm pretty sure the first thing that we discussed was almost certainly me asking for a favour, because that seems to be the regular course of action between producers and White Light or lighting hire companies. Multitude of productions, from kid shows on tour to major West End seasons to domestic tours to international tours to concerts to events to opening nights and everything I've forgotten from that list. I think my favourite memory of White Light would be the phoning up Brian and probably Jed and having a conversation when we were in the early stage of planning to do the Kenneth Branagh theatre company season in the West End, and simply outlining what we wanted to do and just leaving the kind of slightly nervous pause for the laughter to come back down the phone line before they realised that I was in fact serious, and then taking it on with aplomb and doing something very special against the odds. More lights, please. I think I'd have to say collaboration. What we do is so nuanced and often so tough in terms of margins and timelines and challenges. Actually, the ability to talk ourselves into doing something and talk ourselves around to the way of doing it is an amazing attribute. Going back to my early days in theatre, I can remember what constituted a moving light some 20 plus years ago versus what we consider to be cutting edge technology in lighting now, and frankly that makes me feel old, because I look back and those were, now they look like antiques, but it was cutting edge then, and the technology we're working with now is incredible and is pushing what we can do in theatre every time we come to a new project. In the 20 years out of its 50-year life that I've been working with and alongside White Light, the theatre industry is a slow evolving beast, but the last 20 years have had so many ups and downs and challenges, and we're just right now coming out of the biggest challenge of all those, that what we do is ostensibly exactly the same as it was 20 years ago. We put people onto stages in front of audiences to entertain them. The way we do it changes at a huge pace every year, and I think the technological advances of what we can do with the resources at our hand are at the forefront of those changes. We can make things happen on stage now in a West End playhouse or West End musical house that we couldn't even consider making happen 20 years ago, and that's really exciting looking to the future. I think in the next 50 years, for White Light, I think we're going to see a huge trend back to candlelight, and I think we're going to be probably unplugging everything and going back to wax. I predict the next 50 years will see us going back to static lights and no moving lights, and this is purely the producer saying this from a budgetary wish list point of view.